Remasters are a huge part of the video game industry these days, and whether you're talking about remakes, remasters, or simple ports of classic games onto new and modern systems, remasters have always opened up a new generation of gamers to some classic fan favourite games that they may not have had the chance to play before. What I want to do in this video is go through a few different choices for me personally of games that I would love to see get remastered for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, so let's discuss. Also, this video is going to completely date me as a millennial because you're just going to see the choices on this list are pretty much from a couple of generations back, and they're mainly games that I just want to play again, so yeah, prepare yourself. Firstly, I'd really like to see Just Cause 2 get a remaster, and the main reason for this is that Just Cause 2 is kind of a classic game at this point, and one that has really gone down in the video game industry as one that people just fondly remember. This game is by far the highlight of the Just Cause series. I've actually recently played Just Cause 4, and it's amazing to see how this series has fallen from grace, because 2 was fantastic, 3 was really good, 4 was honestly terrible. But Just Cause 2 was the pinnacle of the series. It's got such a fantastic world that was kind of ahead of its time in regards to how huge it was and how diverse it was. And on top of that, the gameplay was just pure fun. And I think with Just Cause 2, if they were able to bring back that game and add a bit more to it, update the graphics, perhaps add a multiplayer mode, and also I'd really love if they could implement the wingsuit into the game from Just Cause 3 and 4. I think we could honestly have a truly tremendous game on our hands here. Another game I'd love to see get a remaster is Max Payne 3. Now, the Max Payne series isn't one that I'm particularly well versed in, but Max Payne 3 was a game that I played and I absolutely loved it. This game was just absolutely incredible through and through. It was a cover-based third-person shooter that really focused on bullet time, and it was just this incredibly well fleshed out feature that really gave the game its own identity in comparison to other shooters at the time. And I feel like this game, which was developed by Rockstar of all people, truly deserves another chance in the spotlight, because this was kind of an underrated Rockstar gem along the likes of one of my favourite games of all time, LA Noire. And I feel like that while LA Noire got itself a remaster, I feel like Max Payne 3 is more than overdue. And even more so than that, I would also love to see Rockstar, who now own the Max Payne IP, to develop a new entry into the series. I feel like this is just such an underutilized franchise, and one that could really do with a new entry sometime soon. But if we can't get that, I'll take a remaster of Max Payne 3 for sure. And the next two I'm going to throw in together just because I kind of see them as similar, and that is the Resistance Trilogy and the Killzone Trilogy. Both of these are first-person exclusives for PlayStation, and they are both first-person shooter franchises, and I would love to see both of these trilogies get a remaster, just because they are classics of PlayStation history that don't really get much love and attention these days. I feel like PlayStation has kind of moved on from these brands a little bit, and honestly, I feel like a market still exists for them because Sony does not have a first-person shooter exclusive, and I feel like that's a missing gap that they need to fill. And I feel like if they brought in a Resistance remaster or a Killzone remaster, it could kind of test the waters to see where the interest actually lies for a Sony-led first-person shooter series. And with Resistance, that trilogy which came originally from Insomniac, like, you could really do something cool with that to bring those games back. And Killzone, which of course came from Guerrilla Games, who went on to develop Horizon Zero Dawn and are currently developing Horizon Forbidden West, they, as a developer, have become so more popular and so much more beloved with the release of Horizon that I feel like there would be a lot more interest for people to go back and experience their backlog. And Insomniac, who of course have always been huge, Resistance was kind of their underrated series, so I'd love to see that get brought back. And particularly, I think if Blue Point Games, who developed the Demon's Souls remake and also are famous for doing many remasters in the past, like the Uncharted trilogy, I feel like this is perfect material for them to dive in and bring these classic series, back to PS5. And sticking with PlayStation exclusives, I'd also love to see a remaster of the first two Infamous games. The Infamous games are just so much fun, and again, true gems of the PlayStation library, whether you're looking at the first game, the second game, or Infamous Second Son, which was a close enough launch title to PS4. This is just a fantastic trilogy of games that really deserve some more love. And the first two Infamous games, especially the first one, has definitely aged somewhat, and I would love to see them get a new coat of paint and introduce it to a new generation of players. The Infamous games were absolutely fantastic as these open world superhero games, which, following the release of Spider-Man Miles Morales, there is definitely an appetite for that among gamers. I would just love to see these games brought back into the spotlight where they deserve, because they had really cool stories. It was a really cool one-part, two-part series that I really feel like could do with a new breath of life. And also with, the developers of the game, Sucker Punch, who went on to develop Ghost of Tsushima, one of the most well-regarded games in recent years. I feel like that, again, like I said about Killzone, there are definitely gamers out there who are going to be interested to delve back into their backlog and see what they made. And that, of course, starts with the infamous Trilogy, and also Sly Cooper you could throw in there as well. But the infamous games I would love to see be brought back onto PS5 and given that true status that they deserve. And another game that I feel like was completely underappreciated at its time was Spec Ops The Line. This game was just fantastic, and while it certainly has a cult following and it certainly has the people who do support it, it definitely never got the attention it deserved. This was a really smart tactical third-person shooter that kind of used a lot of different elements from tactical shooters of the time, such as some of the Tom Clancy games, but also threw it into an incredibly unique setting as it threw it into a destruction-ridden Dubai. And this was just such a unique, fantastic setting that I have a personal connection to. I used to live in the city of Dubai, and for me, seeing a game set in Dubai was absolutely incredible, and especially throwing this incredible twist on it as it's this version of Dubai that had been absolutely wiped out by this like cataclysmic sandstorm. That's very cool, very interesting. And that opening moments of the game where you walk through the desert and you just see the city in the background, it was mind-blowing. And what was even more mind-blowing was the story of the game, which I don't want to spoil here because I know that a lot of people still haven't played this game, and if it ever does get a remaster, you totally should. But this story was so unsuspecting, no one actually predicted it. No one could ever see what happens in this game. No one ever saw it coming. And it left such a mark and such an impression on the games industry and the people who did play it because its story was so well told. And again, throw that into fantastic gameplay, amazing third-person cover shooting, tactical advantages, and also the incredibly unique setting of Dubai. This was just a fantastic package that not many people, or not enough people, were able to experience. And with a remaster, people would be able to get that time back. Now, moving over to Nintendo, I would absolutely love to see a remaster, or at least a port to Nintendo Switch, of Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort. This is just something that I need in my life. I mean, a Nintendo Switch that I now have, you know, I really enjoy the Nintendo Switch. It's got so many fantastic games, and Nintendo has got such a fantastic backlog of exclusives on there that I'm perfectly satisfied. However, if I really had a choice, I would adore a Wii Sports remake or remaster or port to the Nintendo Switch. And I feel that you could do it all in one package with Wii Sports Resort and Wii Sports all being combined into it, because there are a couple of events from Wii Sports that were brought back for Resort. You only actually have to add in the boxing, the tennis, and the baseball games into Wii Sports Resort to make it a full package. And I feel like that if they were able to do that, this would sell like hotcakes. What you got to remember is the Wii is one of the best-selling consoles of all time, and therefore Wii Sports, the packing game, is also one of the best-selling games of all time. Most people who are gamers have played Wii Sports and have loved it. I don't know anybody who does not like Wii Sports. It's so endlessly enjoyable, so simply fun, and something that anybody and anyone can get behind. You know, this was the game that your family members who have never even touched a video game controller before was able to get behind and have fun with. And I think if they brought this back for the Nintendo Switch, which has also sold incredibly well, not only would people buy this, but they would be playing it for years to come, because it's just such a fantastic package that anybody will love. And again, it's such a classic for Nintendo at this point. I feel like it's honestly unbelievable they haven't done it. And given the fact that the Switch still has the motion controls, you can totally still make the game as it was, with new motion controls, even more accurate motion controls from what we had on the Wii, now with Nintendo Switch. And I feel like this is such a good idea. I cannot believe Nintendo's done it and I haven't done it yet, and I would just be so beyond happy if they announced this. But my number one game that I would personally love to see get a remaster, and this is certainly a strange one, is Dog's Life from the PlayStation 2. Now, many of you, some of you may not even know what this game is, and I'm honestly really interested. I would love for you guys to comment down below if you have heard of this game or you know what this game is, because I don't know anybody who knows this game, and I have never seen anyone talk about it at length, because I don't even know where this game came from. I don't know what it is. This was just a game that has always been in my household. Like, this was a game that when I was given my PS2 from my sister, this was a game that she had, and I don't know where she got it from or where she heard it from or whatever. But this is a game that I cannot seem to track down, and it was just a fantastic game in my opinion that truly, again, no one talks about, and I don't understand why. It's an open world game where you play as a dog and you get to just live the life of a dog, and it's just as good as it sounds. It's a way better version than Goat Simulator, and it existed way before Goat Simulator ever did. This game is just phenomenal, and it came out the same year as San Andreas, and honestly, it rivals San Andreas. This game is just so damn funny, so good, such a great open world, such a great lead character. Jake the dog is genuinely hilarious at points, and this world that you got to explore was so diverse and so big for its time. It's honestly kind of amazing. Dog's Life is just such a unique and interesting game, and again, such a weird game. Like, I don't know what this game is or where it came from, and the developers of this game are still around, so like, I want to know what they're actually doing now, and whether a chance of this coming to PS5, like as a remaster, would ever happen. This was a PlayStation 2 exclusive, and it was just this really strange game that just apparently never went anywhere, and I would love to see it just brought back to life, not for anybody, but more so just for me. I really want to play this game again because it's a real piece of my childhood, and I would love to see it on PS5, you know, with incredible new graphics, but with the same janky gameplay. Even if it was just a port, because I love those old graphics, I would just love to see this brought back in some way, shape or form. And again, please let me know in the comments if you know what this game is, because I'm so curious to see it and see how many people have actually heard of this game, have played it or whatever, because it's just a game that I have never seen anyone else talk about or know of other than myself. So for me, my number one game, if I could have any game in the world to get a remaster, it would be Dog's Life. So there you have it. There's all the games that I would love to see get a remaster, or any games that you would love to see get a remaster for this generation of consoles. Make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And again, let me know in the comments down below. Do you know what Dog's Life is? Have you heard of it? If you have, let me know in the comments down below, because I'm incredibly interested to find out. But anyway, with all that said, if you want to see more gaming content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads from me. And I hope to see you guys again next time.